What is up, guys? This is Kobe here, and welcome to the MapleStory Override Training Guide. Beyond as well, because I am going to be covering some Maple Sea areas. In this training guide, not only am I going to be covering training, but I am going to be covering questing, bossing, and for those of you funded players, no one wants to know, even though most of you guys probably know how the game, how it works to level up. I am going to be putting a mini power leveling guide, which will only get to level 200, not 250, because arcane river level restrictions. Level 200 to 250 is pretty straightforward, but I am still going to go over that on for regular players anyway. But I'm pretty sure you power levelers already know what the hell what happens after that, so I am just going to be covering the first 200 levels for you guys. But that's basically how it's gonna go down. I'm gonna be listing the monsters, the map. I'm also gonna have a mini little navigation screen in the corner showing you guys how to actually get to this map, kind of standing out from the other training guides, because a lot of people don't really know how to get a certain map. So I figured I'd take that and be like, hey, I might just make like a mini guide on how to get to such and such map, right? I'll show it on the world map, and then I'll show you in the small corner on how to actually get there. And yeah, that's basically how it's gonna be. Now, I'm pretty sure that some of you guys may have looked at the duration of this video and you're jumping a little bit, right? I know a lot of people don't like training guides that are long as hell and nothing, but hey, I got timestamps for that. There are timestamps in the description. Click on the timestamps in the description. Mobile user, no problem. Pinned comment, timestamps. There really shouldn't be anybody complaining about how long the guide is, because you could jump right where you need to go. I'll actually list the name of the map and name of the mobs in the timestamps as well, so you know what it is and whatnot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So as for starters, the best place to go is Mixed Golems. You can enter this place through going to Hennessy's, go on to the portal to the right, and then just follow it, get to the Golem Temple, as the navigation shows in the bottom right corner. But this is definitely a good start. The map is pretty small, the mob count is really good, and the EXP that they give is also really nice. I figured staying here for the first 5 or 10 levels, whatever your preference is, and after you're satisfied here, there is another golem map that you can go to. Red golems are much better than mixed golems. The base EXP, is a little bit higher. If you feel like you're strong enough, you could actually start here from the get-go at level 10, but I highly don't recommend that, since they are a, quite a little bit of a higher level, so you do need to get at least 5 levels in before coming here. But the spawn in map size, isn't necessarily as good as mixed golems, but okay, the spawn is probably as good. The map size, not so much though, so there is a lot of moving around in order to actually deal with these mobs. But once you're able to move around and get the map, move around the map and kill efficiently, it is much better than mixed golems. And you want to stay here till around level 25 or so, and after that you go ahead and move on to Evil Eye. Well, by Evil Eyes I actually mean Curse Eyes, but this is a really good map to finish up your first job, right? Unless you're locked somewhere and can't really train here, then this map is definitely the best for finishing up first job. You will definitely get to level 30 here easily. I know it's only 5 levels that you'll stay here, but after these 5 levels, you're done. You can come here at level 20 or so if you want to. Like I said, if you're strong enough, you can always come to different maps earlier if you feel like you're strong enough, but if you're not, you can just backtrack to the previous one. So now that you've finish training here, get second job, there are way more training maps to cover. Now for second job training, you're gonna want to start training here at Gold Beach. These guys will eventually start giving you EXP in the hundreds, which is really good. Plus this is also a really good map to train as well. Although there is a better map with mobs that are 1 level higher, and those are the clans. The clams, even though they might be 1 level higher, I feel like they're a much better training spot than the coconut slimes. But I did recommend the coconut slimes if want to get that bonus EXP before the clams. So you can come here as late as level 32. I feel like once you do get to at least level 32, the clams will be much better than the coconut slimes. The spawn even then looks better. And you want to stay here until around 40, 45 or so, depending on your preference. Now from level 40 to 50, we have the Seashell Octopus slime. These guys are might take a little bit to get to level 50 or so, because they are indeed only level 42. But if you do end up getting a little bored and want to speed up the progression a little bit, you can always do the quest line that comes with this area. It unlocks to level 35, and you will definitely get some levels in. Maybe not up to level 50 if you're doing it early, but let's say you're around 45 or so, this quest line should definitely easily get you to 50. Even if it doesn't, training here to level 50 isn't necessarily too bad. The spawn is somewhat similar to that of the clams, although the mobs might be a little bit harder to reach, but the EXP is definitely much better and definitely a good stay until level 50. And from level 50 to 60, the ending of second job, we got Wild Boars. Wild Boars, it has a very strange layout with, really good spawn in my opinion. So I definitely do think it is good enough in order to reach level 60, because the spawn here is just really nice. The only problem is being able to actually manage the map. For me, I usually do a clockwise rotation to the map where I just go up here. Of course, most people won't have rope lift, but you can just easily go up the ladder. And same thing goes over here. Or, most classes these days have an up jump, so it is easy to up jump up here, just tackle them down, and then go down here, and go here, and just, defeat the mobs. Easy and simple as that. And after training here for a little bit, you should easily be level 60. And to begin your third job adventures, you go to Drakes. Drakes are definitely the most popular map at this level range. There's a lot of people trying to train here, and if the map does end up being full, although in my version of MapleStory here there's a teleporter, but there isn't really a teleporter in GMS, so don't count on this. It does bring you to the top though. But if this map is full and you can't really find a map, your best bet is to go into the map right next to it. This map is also really good, not as good as the map before, but it is definitely a good alternate to Drake's, being popular and whatnot. And let's say there's a 2x session and this map is full, right? There's no stopping you from coming here. This map is also really good. I sometimes train here while Drakes get too hefty, and I have to say this map is definitely good. The spawn rate, not like I said, not as good as Drakes, and might take a little bit longer to level, but it's still really good. It is something that you should definitely give a shot. Now, starting at 75 or 70, whichever level you feel comfortable here coming with, although these guys have a much higher health than Drakes, but with the third job damage boost, you should be somewhat good to train here. Now, these are White Fangs. Their EXP is literally almost triple that of Drake's. Well, maybe just a little bit more than double, but it is pretty close to triple. The spawn is, it's alright, and a really good way to train here is that there is a teleporter in this bottom portal right here to the bottom left that does take you all the way to the top, but you do have to jump all the way down to be able to fight the monsters here again. Really good training map. I say this is somewhat of another filler training map before you actually go to, desert, which I don't really recommend until level 85, but, or like I said again, level 80 if you're strong enough. But, with that being said, we'll be going on to the next map. To finally finish off your third job adventures, we have Sahel 2, or, the desert in Magadia. Some really good stuff coming through. And let's say this map gets full, right? There's always this map right here, although I don't necessarily recommend this map because of these stupid little bumps right here. But there is that map if things just really get hectic, and if, it's too much there, although that's probably the least popular map there'll be. There's also this map, which in my opinion is the best from the 3 maps shown. So let's just say, this gets a little bit too crowded, too popular, and whatnot. Oh my god. There are a bunch of alternates in here. There's literally this map, this map, this map, and this map that you can train until level 100. It's pretty much the research lab. I forgot which one this was, but we have the little rock monsters in this map here. Another flat map. We also have Roids, which is also a really flat map. My personal favorite because it's so small. There's also C2, which may be better, but it probably can get a little crowded at sometimes. Who knows? But I don't necessarily come here very often because I like C1 better because of the how small it is and whatnot. I don't necessarily recommend this map, or let's just say things are a little bit too hectic. It is 2 platforms with some nice decent spawn, I guess, but it's not really a map that I'm feeling. And if that's a little bit too much there, you can go to B3 with another C1 lookalike, just maybe a little bit longer with the Rumos as monsters. But as you can see, there's a crazy amount of options that you can train at, or crazy amount of places that you could train at until you reach level 100. So now I'm going to be taking a break from the regular maps, and since you're now level 100, 4th job, buffed up and everything, I'm going to be introducing Star Force maps. Now, for those of you guys who think you're a little bit too weak for Star Force maps, don't worry. I feel like Star Force maps are really good, even for players who don't feel like they have a lot of range. You just need to get the Star Force for it, and you're practically good to go into level 140. Although, there are some pretty good maps I do suggest that you go to before level, that's not Star Force before level 140, but I highly recommend the Star Force route. It might go a lot faster for y'all, and if it doesn't, it's alright, it's all good. But I am gonna go show you guys a quick demonstration for Star Force for some people who don't really know. Star Force, well, this is the scrolling system that's currently not available in Reboot. For free Reboot players watching this is nothing that you need to worry about. I'm just gonna, get that scrolling, and this is the Star Force system right here. We have basically these stars on this equipment, right? There is a small, there's a pretty big chance when you start Star Force to get some extra stats, and if it somewhat passes, and I usually, close off star catching for Star Forcing, but when it passes, you get 1 star, and that 1 star is part of the amount of Star Force that your character has, which is going to be showing in right here of your stat window. Even though it's in Korean, it'll be English for you guys, so it's nothing to worry about. But it is very easy to get Star Force to train at level 140 maps. You only need around 60 Star Force at level 140, and if this is all it takes for Star Force, it's actually really easy to get. Also, just a heads up, 1 Star Force, 1 star on an overall counts as 2 stars, so 10 stars is basically 20 Star Force. So that's just a quick little reminder. Getting 60 Star Force, you just need to pick up missiles off the ground, run Zakum, which I will talk about later when I do the bossing route of this guide and whatnot. And that's pretty much how Star Force works. So without further ado, it is time to talk about the Star Force maps. Now the first Star Force map that I'm going to cover are the Dark Kentauruses, or Centaurs, or whatever y'all call them. You do need 15 Star Force for this map, so let that be your reminder. But like I said, 15 Star Force is really easy to get. These guys have 1.5 million health, maybe just a tad bit more in Reboot. The Star Force mobs in Reboot versus normal Cerberus are very similar to each other, so there's nothing to worry about there. So they have around 1.5 million health. They give around 8k EXP once you're in the level range, so it's really nice. A lot bigger than that of what you were getting over at Magadia, those maps over there. So it is definitely a really good start for players. You definitely want to try out Star Force maps that are just hitting level 100, just experiencing their 4th job skills, my bad. But yeah, this is actually a really nice map to go to. I recommend staying here to 110, and after 110, you're gonna spend a lot of time with this next map here coming up. So if you saw the portion of the video where I was at White Fangs, you saw that I was going to a portal at the bottom that brought me up to the top, right? Well, this is exactly how it works for this map here, and this is the reason why it's so damn good. And you'll be staying here from level 110 to 130. You need 26 Star Force in order to actually come at these guys, and they have around 2.5 million health. But like I said, maybe a tad bit more in Reboot. But these are dual Ghost Pirates. They give around 11,000 EXP once you're in the level range, and they're overall super good. Especially, all you have to really do is just jump down, kill some mobs, jump down once you're at the very bottom, go into this portal right here, and you start from scratch once again. This is personally one of my favorite maps while training a mule, and it's the reason why I stay here for 20 whole ass levels, right? So very nice map to go to. Definitely good. Even if you, like I said before, even if you are kind of weak, but you have the Star Force, I highly recommend checking out this map. And from level 130 to 140, in my honest opinion, this is definitely the best go-to map. This is the map where I train my mules in that certain level range, but I do want to say that this map can be dangerous because there is a piece of lava right here, right? If you accidentally jump into this lava, you'll be warped to a map with some very low level mobs, but you can easily get out of it just by coming in here. So let's say, oh, I don't like this map, I keep falling in there too much. Well, there are two alternates to this map, but I don't necessarily fall in there that much because I've been training there for so long. But there are the junior Cerberuses right here. These guys, well, I'd say they give around 17 to 19,000 experience, which is how much I was getting over at Cerberuses, but the juniors might give a little less. They are, I forgot to check what level they are. They are level 132, 134, and 136. Well, these guys are only 132. The Cerberuses are level 134, but the Banes are level 136. So let's say, you know, you don't really like this map, monsters are too, you know, easy to kill, not that much EXP, and you don't like this map because of, you know, the falling in the map sort of thing. We have Banes. Banes are level 136. I personally don't like this map because of how long it is and how many, you know, obstacles that you have to jump up here and, you know, whatnot. Kind of does bother me a little bit. But these guys are definitely really good. They give around 19,000 EXP like I had said before, and it's overall a somewhat good map, although I never actually trained here on personal experience, but I know a lot of people who have, and they say it's really good, maybe better than the map that was shown before and whatnot. But yeah, very good stuff indeed. And I do want to say right here is around starting where Star Force does get a little hectic and some decent gear is actually going to be required. So for those of you guys who are Arcana weak, you'll be slowed down a little bit. And because of that, I suggest you continue on the actual leveling guide that's not Star Force. But anyway, let me go ahead and talk about the Dark Wyverns. If you're, you know, Banes are getting a little too easy for you, this is definitely the place to go up to level 145. The EXP they give is around 25,000, and there is indeed a teleporter right here that will take you all the way up here, so that's nothing to worry about at all. Map spawn, you know, even though it's big and it might be hard to navigate through and kill stuff, the spawn is actually really nice, especially at the bottom with the whole bottom horde that's here. It's actually kind of ridiculous. But yeah, once you get to level 145, there are definitely much better Star Force maps that you can access. Now this is my personal favorite Star Force map here, but Kerning Tower will now have Star Force maps with a required Star Force of 80. Keep that in mind. I'm not necessarily sure if this will come out for June 21st or July 5th for GMS, but it is definitely a map that you should be looking forward to for when it actually does come out. Kerning's Tower Star Force is definitely the easy way to go from level 145 to 170. The first map you want to start at is floor 2, map 4, and that's this map right here. If you can hit the top, or if you have skills that you can hit the top from the middle, this map is beautiful. It's amazing. And you know, they're only level 155, so once you get hit around level 165, I feel like this map is slowing down a bit. You can go up to floor 5, map 4, which is this Star Force map right here. This Star Force map is also really nice, although the only thing that throws me off about it is this platform right here, as it is a little higher than the others, which does, you know, it's kind of annoying. The mobs give around 40 to 45k EXP when killed when you're in the level range, so it is definitely a super nice map. I definitely picked this place over Star Force Temple of Time, in my honest opinion, up to level 170. And then once you're level 170, we move on to the greatest Star Force map ever. We have Temple of Time Star Force Oblivion. The EXP that these guys give is around roughly close to 50,000. In my opinion, I choose Kerning Square over this because the mobbing is, you know, a lot better. But I am in map 3, only because, you know, for Reboot players in map 3, well, I mean, I'm not really sure about the Star Force version, but map 4 does consist of a lot of people farming for Piece of Time, which is this map right here. But if you are not in Reboot, this is definitely the place to go to. If you're not really feeling Kerning Tower, which is really not released yet, you come here at around 155 at the complete earliest. If you can deal with this map at 155, then be my guest, you can come on in. But yeah, these guys give around 50 to 55,000 base EXP once you're in the level range. Really good stuff. But like I said before, if Kerning Tower is out, I definitely train there instead. So after that, you know, once you actually get that situated and over with, we have 2 more Star Force maps remaining. Oh no, this map. I mean, without Omega Sector, there's really no other choice. As for Star Force, this is the best map for you. Unless you're in Reboot, there is definitely some other better maps. But Armory 2, aka Weapon Storage 2, a spawn is garbage. I hated this map so much, but the EXP is kind of a little bit too good to pass up. But like I said, this is pretty much, I say, a normal server exclusive map as long as Omega Sector isn't out yet. Once Omega Sector's out, don't touch this map. Don't touch this map. But this is just a little filler because Omega Sector isn't going to be out by the time this guide is up. So you want to stay here starting at level 170 and leave as fast as you can, like 180 for Twilight Perion, because this map is absolutely disgusting. But yeah, for those of you guys who do end up training here, I just want to say best of luck. You want to get those levels in as fast as possible and just leave. Whereas this is the much better Star Force map. But this map, like I said before, is coming out on July 5th, 2017. I actually don't have enough Star Force because my pennant expired, but it's alright because I one-shot anyway. But this is Omega Sector UFO H03. If you can one-shot these mobs, then you are very well available to train here all the way up until level 200. It is better than Twilight Perion in my opinion, but you know, since KMS doesn't have Kishin or Frenzy, it's kind of undecided what's better with, you know, what, right? But in my opinion, these guys are much better. They give around 90,000 base EXP in the level range. 90,000 is a shit ton better than Twilight Perion 60,000, which is why I say, if you are able to one-shot, then you pretty much just stay here until level 200. At level 190, you won't be able to spawn runes, so if you do want a rune really bad, you're probably just gonna have to warp to a different map and warp back here as soon as possible, which I don't necessarily recommend. But if you don't want to be in a map where you can't spawn a rune, then there is always Twilight Perion. And that concludes Star Force. So for you non-Star Force people, we have Rashes. I really hated this map. I really recommend you do Star Force instead if you do have the right amount of Star Force. But if you just don't want to do it, then there's Rashes. Even though most people will probably skip this level range because Zocum is much better and you're able to, you know, speed through it like that. I'll discuss more about that a little later. But you know, if you don't really like this map, you can also go to Rashes. Well, I'm pretty sure this is just Dark Rashes. But this map is also really good, in my opinion. A little bit better than Rashes, but it does take a little more navigation through the map since it's not just 3 easy platforms to fight. It's 6 easy platforms to fight. But then there's also this hidden map right here. I'm not necessarily sure how good this is or not, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look too good. Although the spawn does actually look pretty nice, the layout is just I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Rashes. And for the next map, we have Robos, and you can stay here to as late as level 125. But like I said, dual ghost pirates are much better. If you have 26 Star Force, you know, it's a little bit easier to chain there. But like I said, if you really don't want to do that, then Robos is the option for you. Robos are somewhat easy to kill. They're very easy to kill actually. Their base EXP is around only about 3.5k once you're within the level range. But their HP is low, easy to kill. There's really no special tactics as, you know, teleporters and whatnot to train this map. So it might take a little while to level up. But with reboots, inflated, EXP and levels, this map isn't actually too bad. But for normal Cerberus, yeah, Star Force is definitely better. But this isn't, you know, too bad of an option either, especially up to 125, since these guys are level 113 and 114. They'll pretty much be spawning runes until 124, and then once you hit 125, that's when this map is done, rendered useless. So once you reach about level 125 or so, that's when you come over here to Korean Folktown. We got these moon bunnies here. Moon bunnies are definitely a very, very popular map in Reboot. So this map might actually be pretty crowded. If you do find a free map, nice. Normal servers, you know, it's not going to be that popular. They do give about, I believe, around 5k EXP within the level range, around 5.5k up to 6. I don't think it's up to 6k, but around 5.5k is how much they actually give. But once again, like I said, the base EXP and HP is a lot higher in Reboot, and there is a fair tip for you guys that are level 125 doing this. Do these quests. I say do these quests. There are 7 warning signs across all of Folk Village or Korean Folktown. This is map number 1. This is map number 2, map number 3, map number 4, map number 5, I believe there's something down here, map number 6, and map number 7. These 7 maps do hand you the quest. I'm gonna go ahead and move around a little bit more because these warning signs are very, very important in Korean Folk Town, as they do give a lot of EXP and definitely a decent amount of mesos for starters. Even though it is up to 6 mil once you actually finish it. Here's Exhibit B right here, another warning sign. But these quests will easily get somebody from level 125 to even 130 if you kill enough mobs, or if you just keep killing after the quests are done, just a little bit. Some really easy 5 levels as long as you get all these warning sign quests done. We'll be moving on, and then this map, well, not this map, but the map after this, but there's another warning sign right here, and this map is also another alternate to Moon Bunnies. If you really don't want to train at Moon Bunnies, there is the Goblins here, so you can train here as well. Although you might need to be around that 130 or so to actually train here efficiently, because these guys are damn near 140. And if this map isn't too good for you, I'd say this is the best map in Korean Folk Town here, Goblin House. The mobs only spawn here. They're so close up together. They're so, the map isn't too big because mobs don't actually spawn around here. Just check and see for yourself. They don't spawn here at all. I don't even know if they're allowed to come here. Well, they're allowed to come here, I guess. But it's just really, really good. Once you hit level 145 at Goblin House, Kerning Tower is definitely the best go-to map. And as far as what map you should train at, I'd say here, floor 2, map. No, this is floor 5, map 1. This is, Kerning Tower, floor 5, map 1. These guys are level 155 or so you can pretty much stay here till as late as 165. Maybe for normal servers, you might want to dip at 160 and try Temple of Time instead. But for Reboot, this is definitely a really, really good map to train at until 165. And if you don't really want to train at Kerning Tower, at level 150, we got Stone Colossus. So you will have to be at Kerning Tower for about 5 levels or so. But Stone Colossus, I'd say this map is definitely easily my favorite. You can also train here until 165 as well. Mantis and Blood Mantises are around level 150, 152-ish and whatnot. They give around 40k, well 35 to 40k base EXP in the Reboot. Normal servers, I didn't really, look too much to realize what it'd be. But it is around, I'd say, 10k, 11k, maybe a little bit more than that. There is a wiki that I will link in the description. You can search up these mobs, how much EXP they give. But it is some really, really good stuff. But there will still be, navigation showing you guys how to get here and whatnot. But the spawn is beautiful. I don't know why the spawn here is so good. I'd say Stone Colossus is definitely one of the best non-software maps. I have never really cared to look at this in my previous training guide because I didn't think it'd be that good. But here, oh man, this map is actually really nice. Now this is for my MapleStory people watching this video, because I want to make sure this caters to you guys as well. From level 163 all the way to level 200, you got Parking Lot, and GMS's place is trash. They're level 60 and they only give about 200 EXP. It's horrible. But the MapleStory, they give EXP comparable to Twilight Perion, believe it or not, and they're only in the 160s. This map is actually ridiculous. I see a lot of people training here at Parking Lot for MapleStory until they reach around level 200 or so. Another map that I usually see him train at is this map right here. This map also gives that really boosted EXP, which is also really good as hell. Now I'm not necessarily sure if MapleStory will nerf this or not, but if it is nerfed by the time I come out, they completely disregard this area and just keep training where the other areas I listed are. And next we have Star Force, well not Star Force, but the actual Oblivion map in Temple of Time. They give around 22 to 23k EXP in normal servers once you're around the level range. Now the funny thing in Reboot is that these guys have more health than their Star Force counterparts. But also, just like their Star Force counterparts, there are going to be a lot of people here for piece of time farming. So if you really can't find a map in Road to Oblivion 4, there's also Road to Oblivion 3, which is, kind of what I do, to be honest. This is a really good map going from level 160 to 170, so it is definitely something that you should suggest giving a shot. And yeah, that's basically typical time for you. And once you hit level 170 or 165, if you want to come here pretty early, we have Knights District 2. This is one of my favorite non-Stormforce maps in my opinion. Not as disgusting and ugly as Armory, but the spawn here, you know, it's actually a little bit better. These guys give around 25k base EXP. Well, actually, it's not too far off from the Oblivion counterpart, so it is around 24, 25k ish base EXP when you're around the level range. Once again, a little bit more in Reboot, but they're not really, you know, too bad. This is definitely a map that I highly suggest trying, and if you don't really want to train here, we have more options as well. You could try Knight's Chamber 1 at level 170 to 175 or so, but the problem with this map is that they could spawn elites which do really hefty damage, which will kill a lot of players. So if you don't really want to train at Knight's District 1, well, you're probably going to have to stay at Knight's Chamber 2 for a little while. Well, this is Knight's Chamber 1, my bad. Knight's District 2 was the map that I showed before, but here we have Hall of Honor, which I'd say is only really good for Reboot players. Hall of Honor and normal services, but in Reboot, it is alright. You can come in around 175 or so. Not too bad at all. But if you don't really want to train a Hall of Honor, we have Knight's Chamber 5, which I say is good even up to level 190. But you do have to be damn near level 180 to be able to actually train here efficiently. 175 at the complete earliest. These mobs are level 184. Their EXP is roughly around 35k ish or so. So pretty good EXP. But you know, if you can take on Twilight Perion once you reach level 180, you can definitely go there. But if you can't, then this is a good filler map. So with all that being said, let's go move on to Twilight Perion. And here we have Omega Sector. If you don't necessarily want to go through the trouble going to Stronghold, Omega Sector is the best place to go to. This area comes out on July 5th, 2017 for GMS and MapleStory. It is already released. With Omega Sector's launch, I never really went to Stronghold on any other character ever again. I just pretty much added it if you wanted to actually just train there instead, or you know, just train there during the 2 weeks ever since, you know, this video uploads all the way to Omega Sector's actual release, because you know it will not be released by the time this video is out, so it's all good. But yeah, Omega Sector is absolutely amazing. I trained here till about 180 on my shade and just went straight to Twilight Perion afterwards because I didn't have enough Star Force to take on the Star Force area, and yeah, that's about it. So this is Twilight Perion. You can come here at level 180. This is literally your final stepping stone until level 200. But these monsters start at level 190, so just keep that in mind. So at level 180, you might not be able to damage these guys very well unless you do have some really nice gear and you're able to come here pretty soon. But first map we have are the Stumps here at Twilight Perion. I'd say this map is really nice because, you know, all maps in Twilight Perion have stupidly broken spawn. Let's just keep that in mind. Probably the map with the area with the best spawn rate in the game. And I do not exaggerate when I say that. The spawn rate here is stupidly massive. There is a, you know, little tip in this map. There is a portal that's right here, which will take you up to the top. And that's pretty much how it goes for these Stumps. But if you don't want to chain at this map because it might be a little too big, then there is another map that I can show. This map right here is Desolate Hills, another Stump map. In my opinion, I find it a lot worse because I just feel like it is harder to train, even though harder to train here, even though there is a portal that takes you to the very top, so you can just kill the mobs up here if there are mobs that spawn up here in GMS. But you can just go down there to the top, into the middle, then to the bottom, and just go into the portal again, and just repeat the process. And that's pretty much how Desolate Hills works. Next up, we have the most popular map at Twilight Perion. That's Forsaken Excavation Site 2. This map is crazy popular. Some classes can just stay in the middle, teleport up and down, and just destroy everything. Or there's some classes you actually have to rely on this teleporter right here. Although mobs don't really spawn on this top platform here in GMS, they do spawn on these bottom 3 platforms, which is pretty nice, to be honest. Really easy map to get to train until 200, but if you don't really want to come here because of all the people and whatnot trying to train here, then there are 2 more options. Here's my personal favorite, Forsaken Excavation Site 4. It works just like, you know, Sand Rats, or no, not Sand Rats, White Fangs, or Dual Ghost Pirates, as far as the teleporting tactic goes, or where the portal is that brings you to from the very bottom to the very top. These guys give much better EXP than Forsaken Excavation Site 2, and in my opinion, I think it's better. As long as, you know, you don't really have anybody kitchening Forsaken Excavation Site 2, and this map is, you know, a little bit better. And let's say you just don't want to train here as well, because both maps might be full if that ever happens. The last map that I highly recommend is Rough Canyon. Rough Canyon has a crazy ton of golems, even though the platforms are really big and far apart. If you're a class that can pretty much just tear down all 3 platforms, find the teleport at the bottom, and go right up to the top. Actually, just here, lost it. Oh, there it is. Then this map is definitely good for you. There's also monsters that you might need to kill here, over on the platform up here, and it's just how it works. Rough Canyon might be better, like I said. All depends on the class's preference of which Twilight Period map is better and most suitable for you until you get to level 200, and yeah, that's basically Twilight Period. Now you're level 200, you're not fit job, but you're pretty much just waiting on your arcane stone to actually completely charge up. Well, this is the map for you. Scrapyard Hill 5. You want to come here at around level 200 or so. Stay here as late as 215, as long as Arcane River might be a little bit too much of a hassle for you and whatnot, because you don't have enough arcane force. Mobs just have too much health, even though they are getting nerfed. Their HP is cutting in half, and their EXP is cutting by 40% in this patch. Maybe not this patch specifically, but they are getting nerfed in the override update in general. So that's something to actually look out for. But Scrapyard Hill 5 is really nice, and people usually train here up to, you know, even to 215, like I said. Very good replacement to people who just can't cover Arcane River and whatnot. Now for the Arcane River portion of the leveling guide, I am going to be discontinuing the navigation, only because, well, first of all, it's on the Maple guide, and if you want to know what maps I'm talking about, I'm going to be saying the mob names, and you can just easily look at the board map, see where it is, and just go straight to it. So, as a 5th job starter, have around 30 arcane force or so, you want to be training at Raging Erdas. Raging Erdas has, you know, 2 different sides of the map, and where they have a really nice spawn rate, and there's also a portal to assist you that brings you to the top, so you can pretty much just kill one side at a time in this map, which is actually really good. Like I said, again, very easy for starters, and if you think, you know, Raging Erdas is, you know, not too good of a map, you can try the sad ones instead. Sad Erdas also have the same exact concept as Raging Erdas. You basically just kill one side at a time, although there is a platform in this map that is a lot longer than what was shown in Raging Erdas. It's still the same easy technique, and you should be able to get some levels in pretty fast. Next up, we have Blazing Erdas. This requires 40 arcane force. Most of you might be saying it requires 50, but like I said, we're keeping the nerf in mind, so it is only 40 arcane force. This map is also really good, especially if you're able to take it on. I say by the time you reach 40 arcane force, come straight here, because the 30 arcane force areas aren't necessarily too good. There is a portal right here that will bring you up to the top. And see, this is why I use the rune to take off the curse root effect. There's a goddamn no stone right here. This is why I do that. But yeah, this is Blazing Erdas. Really good map to train at. This is my personal preference. I trained here all the way up until 210. Really good map in my opinion. Next up, we have Below the Cave. I highly recommend coming here once you reach on level 205 or so. It'll have 60 arcane force. This is literally, you know, the straight up end, all the way up until you get to 210 or so, and once you finally have access to Choo Choo Island. But, you know, even if you do have access to Choo Choo Island, it's still a pretty nice place to actually train at if you don't have enough arcane force for Choo Choo Island, but Choo Choo Island gives more than double the EXP of the mobs here. So, if you're really trying to get some EXP, then I suggest staying here to level 210 and just go straight up to Choo Choo Island. I just want to also say that Below the Cave is also kind of full once 2x stops by. So if Below the Cave gets full, there's also the alternate map above the cave, which is basically almost the same thing, although this map definitely looks pretty different. So if you don't want to train here, there is also 2 more maps that you can go to, because this Tranquil Erdas actually have 4 really good layouts. But here is also, well, not here, the map after this is also really good. This is the 3rd good map that you can go to. It's basically below the cave but reverse. As you can see, they ride instead of string, kind of like below the cave does. And then that's pretty much how it goes. This map right here is good. This map right here is good, and I say this map right here is good. Now that I'm thinking about it, above the cave isn't really too good because the map layout just looks really weird. But yeah, below the cave, name of this map right here, you can look at it on your world map itself, and this map right here. I know I didn't really go to it, but it is a decent map to train at, just in case other maps are full for like a 2x event or something. Next up, we have, I believe, what is called Bitty Bobble Forest, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that's the name of it, but it is this map located right here in Choo Choo Island. We have the Lions. This map is really good for classes such as Night Lord and Angelic Buster, because with Showdown and Celestial Roar, they're able to hit the top platform really easily. But worry not if you are not one of those classes, because there are portals that will take you to the top. But if you aren't one of those classes, then I don't suggest you train here unless the next map I mentioned is absolutely full. Welcome to Slubby Forest Depths, where the map is so goddamn full that I wasn't even able to find a map for the damn video. But this is Slubby Forest Depths, the most popular map at Choo Choo Island. Dude's eventually going to tell me to leave here really soon. But the spawn rate is really good. It's very easy to train here and whatnot. All you have to do is just go to the portal, jump down, go zigzag through the platforms, or do whatever the hell he's doing, and it's just as easy and as simple as that. Just take a look at the map one more time at the very end of Choo Choo Island right here, and that's pretty much it. So if that doesn't necessarily please you enough, we have Torrent Zone 3 with the Rhinos. Personally, I miss training here. It's been so long since I trained here. It feels like it's been ages. But Torrent Zone, I love Torrent Zone so much. But this, I'd suggest training here up until 225 if you can. Not really the best for some classes, like Luminous, for example. They won't perform well here at all. But Torrent Zone is definitely, or easily one of my favorite maps to train at Choo Choo Island, only because of the river concept, which is why I'm here again. Really happy to make this video, being able to train here again, because Arcana does get a little boring every now and then. But yeah, this is Torrent Zone 3. The map is located right here. Now, my initial plan wasn't to cover Whale Mountain, but I highly recommend this map here for my mage people, especially Ice Lightnings and probably Lumi. I don't know, Lumi might perform well in the Shark map, but Krillas, oh, Ice Lightnings excel here, dude. This map is absolutely ridiculous. Like, all you have to do is just use Ice Age, go up and down, use Chain Lightning, easy as hell. And you really only have to stay right here in the middle, just teleporting up and down, and it's just it's easy after that. But if this map doesn't really, work well for you, we do have these sharks, and I believe Whale Mountain was located right there for the Krillas, which is, to the very top of the Choo Choo Island village itself. But next map, we do have these sharks, which is also another interesting mage map. The layout doesn't really appeal to me as a Dark Knight. This map is absolutely terrible. But I'd say, once again, for Lumis, they got door, they got light reflection, they can teleport up and down. This map is actually really nice for those who want to chain here at Whale Mountain. You can chain here up from level, I'd say 213, well 215 to 225, because these guys are level 218 and 219 after all. So they are sort of at the very end of Choo Choo Island. So that is something that you mages can look forward to for training here. And once you reach level 200, finish the questline here at the City of Dreams, Leshlin. There are 3 good maps. First map, Chicken Festival 2. I'd say it's good for the mages here, or anybody that's not necessarily melee other than a battle mage. I'm not really sure how well they'll perform. Actually, battle mages are better off at Clock Tower. We'll cover that later. But this is Chicken Festival 2. The map here is actually really good for some classes. There is no teleporter though, so you be prepared to actually have to rope lift here if you are not a mage or anything of that nature with the up jump. But yeah, this map is pretty good. not necessarily my preference, since I'm only a Dark Knight. In fact, for a class like mine, we'll perform better at this map that I'll be showing next. Next up, we have Revelations 3. This is pretty much the better area for melee users that don't really want to deal with the chicken festival thing. And there is a teleporter here. It does bring you from the bottom right to the top left up to this building right here, so that might be of use to some people. Some people don't necessarily use it and they still perform really well here, better than they do at chickens. But yeah, this is Revelations 3. Really nice map to train at for some of the melee users who, you know, don't necessarily want to go to Clock Tower, although I know I said Revelations is better than chickens, but for me, Clock Tower was much better, and I'll be covering that right now. Let me tell you, man, I was in the zone training here up to level 230. Clock Tower was definitely easily one of my favorite maps to train at in Arcane River. I loved it so much, and just like many of the other maps I mentioned, portal at the bottom that takes you to the top. And because of that, and all you have to really do is just use 1 or 2 skills before you have to jump down, it was just absolutely amazing, and I loved it so much. And that's pretty much it for Leshlin. Now, these last few maps that I'll be covering up until level 250 take place in Arcana, which is an area that MapleStory won't be getting until July, and GMS will be getting until August 9th. So you can pretty much just stay at Leshlin until level 250, but for now, I will show you guys the better maps to train at for when Arcana comes out. Now we start here at the Forest with the requirement of 320 Arcane Force with the Frost and Thundercloud Spirits. I have already made a video over the best map in Arcana, but I am going to show a little bit more maps that, you know, in the 360 Arcane Force area. But for now, the 320 will stay the same, the Frost Cloud and the Thundercloud Spirit. Some really good maps to train at, and if you don't really like this map, well, the other map is pretty much just a mirrored version with the higher platform at the very end, which I'll be traveling to right here. This portal up here pretty much takes you to it. It's basically the same exact thing, just, you know, with a little higher ramp that's coming up right here, and the top platform is a little bit bigger. And that's basically the forest area for Arcana. Welcome to the cave area of Arcana, where there are so many maps that you can train at until level 250. I am about to show you 5 maps which, you know, have, you know, some really nice stuff going on that will assist players to level up a lot. We have Chaos Spirits, the most popular map in Arcana ever. This map is so packed, it's kind of ridiculous. You can't even find a map when it's this early in Korea right now because there's just so many people that are trying to train. But we just have in Unwo training here right now with this, you know, new fit job skill if anybody cares to see it. But there are definitely much better maps than this. This map is just small, condensed, has a really nice spawn, and you can kill them really easily. But ever since I've been one-shotting Arcana, my preference was this map right here. Although hopefully I'm still one-shotting after the pendant loss, in which I am, so that's good. But we have Chaos Spirits, another map. I pretty much just go all the way over here and just use Beholder Impact, and then mobs just, you know, fly off and die. I'll just go ahead and show a quick little demonstration, just like that, and they pretty much just die. And then I continue to just attack like this. Very, very easy. Very good for a class like mine. I personally find this a lot better than the map that was shown before. I do get better results from the map that was shown before, just because, I guess it's because of my class. But next one, we have this map here. This map doesn't necessarily look a little bit too appealing to most people, but it's actually a lot better than it looks. The spawn rate really nice for classes like Night Lords, although there are better maps for Night Lords. or Dark Knights, kind of like mine, or pretty much just any class that can easily do a little bit something like this, just jump and attack. And this is a good alternate to other maps that, you know, will be crowded and whatnot. And if you don't really want to train here, there are some other pretty decent maps that I can list, you know, 2 more about. And this second to last map will be this map here. I do see quite the amount of people training in this map. I don't necessarily like this map very much because I can't hit the top with Dark Impale, but even though I can't, it's still alright. Because, you know, you could just drop down to the bottom of the ocean or bottom of the water, and you'll pretty much just be at the top, in which you can just choose any route you please for, until you drop down to the bottom again and just go up. But yeah, that's pretty much how this map works. And the final map to show is in here. I feel like it's another version of Chicken's Festival 2, if anything, just because of how much similar it looks with the two long platforms and whatnot, even though they are kind of split or are kind of broken apart. But unlike Chicken's Festival, you could jump down and you'll end up at the top. This is also a map that I did train at because I eventually actually learned how to train here with the use of, you know, my fit job skills and my hyper skills. The map wasn't too bad, but once again, the other Chaos Spirit map was definitely more of my preference. But yeah, those are the 5 maps in the Arcana Cave, so it's definitely worth checking out. And this is where you just finish it off. This is where you hit level 250. This is where you're done. So as you can see, the leveling portion was absolutely ridiculously dangerously long. But it might be as long as these last 3 portions I'm showing. Actually, this might actually be, you know, the shorter half, I put in quotes. But I'm going to be spending the rest of this video on my Angelic Buster in Grazed. So, you know, it'll be a little easier to talk about it with you guys and whatnot. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the questing portion of the video. Now, the very first theme dungeon you unlock is actually a level 30, so you want to follow the original leveling guide that I had listed before until level 30 to actually start. So, we have Eleno Ferry Academy, the very first theme dungeon that you get at level 30. There should be a quest in your light bulb, but this character doesn't have it, and I must have already done it. But basically how you start is that you get the quest, you teleport here, you talk to Fancy, you know, get a quest, and then you go into this portal right here, which will take you to the theme dungeon, and this is basically where it all begins. The theme dungeon, I suggest only around 30 to 40. In fact, finishing it will probably get you to only about 38 or so, but it does consist of a really nice amount of quests with mobs that give decent amount of EXP. The EXP rewards from the quest are also super nice, so that is something indeed that you should definitely be looking forward to. Once you're finished with Eleno Ferry Academy, immediately begin Gold Beach. I recommend this place from level 35 to 50. You will also find it in the light bulb in here. You'll be teleported over to this map, and you basically just started doing some killing quests and whatnot. The theme dungeon is very linear as far as how the questing goes, and you literally start in this map and you do the last quest at this map right here, where you fight Captain Dark Ghoul, the boss, right? And then once you get that, you should be around level 45 to 50. And if you're not, you can just train at the Seashell Octopus slime, kind of like what I said before for the training method. And once you get there, that's where you begin Reign of Straight. And right after you finish Gold Beach, hit level 50 after grinding for a little bit, you can then start Reign of Straight, which is the 13th legend that you'll be doing. There is once again a quest in the light bulb, in which after you accept it, you will be teleported here to Rien. You talk to Leland, and she'll give you a quest to go over to Reign of Straight, which is on the road map right here. You start at the Glacial Observatory, and you just eventually work your way up to other areas, which I believe you start. I actually don't even remember where the hell you start. I believe you start. Yeah, you start up here, and then you end up going over here, and then you end up going over here for a quest, and then you go up here, and then you go up here, and you're done. You're probably going to be around level 56 to 58 by the time you're done. You can easily train in one of the maps over here until level 60, or if you don't want to train there, you can just go to Wild Boars like I said in the guide before, once you actually finish Reign of Straight. And you know, with that being said, you will finally be third job. This is honestly one of my least favorite theme dungeons because of the massive amount of cutscenes, but if you still want to be questing, then you can go ahead and do the Mushroom Castle. Right as you hit third job, there should be a quest in your light bulb that allows you to come to Mushroom Castle here. And you start off, you know, clicking on this wanted sign with the Prime Minister right here, and then you go into the portal, and then you get started. This is definitely easy, you know, a really good place to be at up until level 70. And there's also some really nice training maps here as well, but if you're not level 70 by the time you finish this, you can just go to Drake's like I had mentioned before. Now you're gonna be theme dungeon deprived for quite a while, from level 70 to 95. It's just pretty much the grinding zone. Follow the grinding that I had listed before in order to get to level 95, and once you reach level 195, you get an invitation to Ellen Forest. I believe once you accept this quest, you will be you won't be warped to Ellen Forest. Hold up, this is actually the first time I've done this in a while. But you're gonna have to walk over to Ellen Forest, in which I can actually navigate that for you guys right now. You can just start at Hennesis or whatever. Just click on this boat. You will be taken to up here. This is pretty much literally the entire thing that's been going down. But once you get that, you'll be at Six Path Crossway, in which once you're here, you want to go over to the door of Pantheon here. And once you reach the door of Pantheon, you click on the door once again to be able to take you to Ludibrium. And once you're at Ludibrium, you want to go to the Helios Tower. Now to the left is the Eos Tower, so the Helios Tower is pretty much to the right. As you enter the Helios Tower, there's actually going to be a floor above the tower, which will have like some time portal or whatever, which you guys will see right here, which will then take you to Ellen Forest. And this is Ellen Forest. Once you go in here, you will be able to start on the quests that will be shown. At level 100, or after you finish Ellen Forest, once you reach about 4th job or so, you'll be able to go into the Grand Athenium. This is a theme dungeon that's very important to the game's lore, and which has been announced that episode 4 of it is going to be a thing here soon. But yeah, once again, you start at level 100. This is probably another cutscene heavy theme dungeon, so if you're not a big fan of cutscenes, then you're probably going to be better off grinding instead. But yeah, this is chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. This does give a decent amount of EXP. You should get to level 110 from it at least, but I suggest doing it all the way up to 115. At level 110 or 115 or so, you get a quest in your quest tab called Desolate Castle. Once you accept Desolate Castle, you will be sent to Lionheart Castle, yet another theme dungeon. This theme dungeon is very, very loot heavy, as you have to loot hundreds of almost every acceptable item in this theme dungeon. But it does unlock Von Leon, which is a sort of a key daily, if you want to be doing daily bosses in this game as well. This dungeon is required in order to access Von Leon. And once you reach level 115 or finish Lionheart Castle, you will get a quest called Noi More Tourist. At first I thought this was a typo, but once you click on this quest, this person's NPC is named Noi, so it's not a typo at all. It was legit intentional. But once you accept this quest here, you should be able to have you're gonna have to actually talk to the crane in Mulong to be able to access Golden Temple. And I'm gonna go back to Hennesis and show you, the navigation point of view in order to get here. Same thing as before. Once you go to Hennesis, click on the boat, you'll be at Port Road. Go down to the ladder, go up to the go up to the door at the very top of the Six Path Crossway. You'll be here once again, and once you are here, you want to teleport to Mulong. And once you're at Mulong, you want to be going to the portal all the way at the right, which is here. And in this portal, you will be able to see the crane. Once you talk to the crane, you'll be able to go to Theme Dungeon Golden Temple for a small price of 1k, and this is where you begin. Next up, at level 120, we have Fantasy Theme World, which is basically a different version of Fantasy Theme Park. Unlike other people, you can't necessarily teleport to Fantasy Theme World the moment you accept the quest. So remember the Ellen Forest navigation where we go to Ludibrium, right? Well, Fantasy Theme World is in Ludibrium. Don't really have to go, anywhere else. So it's gonna be on this top right corner of Ludibrium. And once you enter here, you say yes please, and you go over to the Fantasy Theme World, and this is where you begin the quest line. Now at level 130, you get an invitation from Grendel in this, available quest tab right here, which will, I believe, it will take you to him. And then once you accept a couple quests, you'll be able to enter the Crimson Heart Castle through the door, which is this castle right here. Then you execute the Crimson Heart Castle quest line, which is required in order to actually enter Golems. Once you finish Crimson Heart Castle at around level 130 or so, you can come back at level 140 and begin Tynerim. Or Tynerim is the pre-quest for Golems, which are mandatory, like literally mandatory, because Golems is one of the most important bosses in GMS. And I will say again, this is a GMS exclusive thing. This is not in MapleStory, this is not in KMS. Well, okay, it's in TMS, right? But TMS is everything. But this is, well, for the audience that's probably watching this, this is, GMS exclusive, and this is where you begin the Golems request. At level 145, you get a quest in your light bulb once again called Kerning Tower Grand Opening. Once you accept this quest, you will be teleported over to the subway. You're actually teleported for once. You accept this quest, and after that, you go ahead and click on Kerning Tower and go through a short little cutscene at the very beginning. This theme dungeon starts at level 145 and is recommended to end at level 155. Once you finish at level 155, you can easily just go ahead and train here until then to begin the next theme dungeon. Or there's another theme dungeon that's unlocked at level 150, which is going to be Stone Colossus right here. Let me just go ahead and double check if that is in the... Okay, it is. Unfortunately, you don't get teleported to Stone Colossus. You actually have to walk there. Or you get a little cutscene from Guaru, and then Guaru is one of the former Black Mage commanders, and actually you do get teleported. I lied, but you go over to Stone Colossus and begin the quest line right here. The quest line goes up to level 160, 165ish or so, right before you begin Omega Sector actually. So it is the second to highest level theme dungeon that there is in the game. And from level 165 to 180, the last theme dungeon, we have Omega Sector. This once again comes out on GMS on July 5th, so look forward to that. There will be a quest in your light bulb, which you have to accept. You'll go through a mini cutscene and you'll end up in this map right here. Not only is this important for the level 165 to 180 players, or players in the level range, but it's important to everybody because Omega Sector unlocks a daily boss called Kentaurus. With Kentaurus, you basically get a little bit more extra money, run dailies, and you get 50 mileage as well, or 50 reward points as well, depending on, the name of it, what server you play. But you basically just start here, of course, and you just climb up the entire UFO, and you'll eventually just finish. You don't have to fight the boss at the end, but you unlock the boss once you finish the entire quest line. Now this next portion I'm going to be talking about is bossing and dailies. For the lower levels, this is definitely going to help you progress to level 200 if you do these every single day. This is something that is practically mandatory in order to get some fast levels. So I highly recommend you go through this and do what's shown on here every day once you reach a specific level range. Some things you might not be able to do because they're too hard, but don't worry about that. If it is too hard, just do what was shown before every day until you're strong enough to do more stuff, and you just do more of that stuff. But that's basically just how dailies in this game work. Welcome to MapleStory. But first off, we have bossing. First boss I want to cover is Easy Zakum. Easy Zakum is pretty much the boss that you want to go to maybe after Reign of Straight, and make sure if you do go to Easy Zakum, guarantee that you will not reach level 100 on the day you go to Easy Zakum. I just want to add this warning in here right now. Easy Zakum shares limits with normal Zakum. And if you go to Easy Zakum, knowing damn well that's going to happen, you go over to normal Zakum at level 100 and realize you can't enter because of the Easy Zakum limit, and then yeah, that's basically how that is. But at level 50s, this pretty much gives an entire full level once you go in. I highly suggest coming in here with a rune, because with the rune you'll get 2x the EXP instead of just the regular one, and that's pretty much how it's going to be going. Next up, at level 100, you can go to normal Zakum, which you never have to touch Easy Zakum again. Once again, get a rune before queuing, and you can do normal Zakum twice in one day. Friendly reminder, it also shares a limit with Easy Zakum, so if you are going to be rushing to 100, do not do Easy Zakum. But this is normal Zakum right here, another easy boss yet again. Has around, well, okay, first off, you want to prioritize killing the arms before killing off the body. Once you're able to kill, you know, all the arms will disappear, you won't get the EXP that was from the arms. So once you kill off the arms, you go ahead and just rush after the body, and he's dead. You want to be able to do this twice in one day, and if you got a burning event and you got a room going on, you can get some crazy massive levels from this boss. I kid you not. At level 105, you unlock Monster Park, which once again is something that you should be doing every day, not only for good EXP, but you'll be able to get some potions that will help you with grinding. You get 3 potions that are in the shop that are shown here. These potions give you 30 attack or 30 magic attack depending on what class, you know, what class you're playing, 1 attack speed, and 10% EXP along with 2000 max MP and HP. So it's some really good stuff. There are also some Monster Park tickets, or you know, Monster Park entry tickets in the cash shop that only sell for reward points. I believe I think they actually sell for an X, I don't remember, but you can use those to go in a few more times every day. There is a daily limit of 7 with those tickets, and without them there's only a daily limit of 2, so just keep that in mind. You can only buy 20 of these tickets per month. And that's pretty much Monster Park. One more thing is, if you play normal servers, quest boosters work with Monster Park as well. So keep that in mind. The quest booster will easily give you double the EXP, and Monster Park will just give, you know, some really it'll give you some really nice gains. At level 130, you can face Hilla. I say level 130 and not level 120 because Hilla at level 120 is actually going to be pretty damn hard. Even at level 130, it might take a while. So if you feel like Hilla's taking too long, wait until level 140 to try again. And if that takes too long, wait until level 150 to try again. But it shouldn't really take more than 5 minutes by the time you reach level 150. I list this as another daily because Hilla gives around 5.8 million EXP per kill, which is really nice for some players who also want to kill Hilla for some good EXP, as well as giving some really nice, you know, items to sell, mesos, nice meso drops. Definitely good for Reboot players who are trying to go ahead and get some money. Hilla and Zakum are definitely some really nice ways to do it, and you can do this boss twice a day. At level 160, I suggest you come to Horntail with, you know, an EXP coupon, and believe me, you should be able to kill Horntail, and if you can't, well, you should. Horntail gives some really nice EXP. It gives around 2 mil EXP with as a base for the heads, right? And that's just, you know, the beginning. Once you actually start breaking the stone and fighting the actual body, you get a crazy amount of EXP. You'll be getting multiple levels even at 160 because of how ridiculous that this area is. There's also the Chaos Horntail counterpart, which you can go to at level 160 as well, which give much more EXP, but you have to be a much higher level in order to actually enjoy it, right? So I don't necessarily suggest Horntail, Chaos Horntail for the lower level players, but normal Horntail, this is definitely a good place to go. You can go to Chaos Horntail if you feel like you're pretty funded, have some, you know, nice damage, but I'm not necessarily sure what the minimum damage you need for Chaos Horntail is. You can go ahead and see for yourself, or you can just spend the entire 2 hours in there doing like 500k to 1 mils, but yeah, that's pretty much just how it's going to be. Second to last boss is Madman Ranmaru, which gives 90 million EXP upon killing, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is also another boss like Chaos Horntail where you do need a decent amount of funding to actually, you know, take on this boss. But the EXP that it gives at the end is extremely worth. So for you Reboot players, Chaos Horntail and Madman Ranmaru aren't necessarily going to be bosses that you'll actually be able to take on your own. And what the hell was that? And the final boss that we have here is Pink Bean. Once again, just like Madman Ranmaru, not that really good for starting players or players with low ranges, but Pink Bean is actually somewhat kind of doable. Hit level 180, have a, you know, decent kind of funding and whatnot, and I believe as long as you're hitting around, you know, 2 mils at the very utmost least, then you should be able to take on Pink Bean. But don't quote me on that because I'm not necessarily sure. but the statues just give straight up millions of EXP per kill. And if you think the statues do give a lot of EXP, well, not only do they come back and die again for you just so you can get more EXP, but the pink bean itself gives a crazy ton of EXP at the end. And yeah, those are basically the days that you want to be doing as far as, you know, bossing in Monster Park goes. So make sure to do those every day, or at least do what you can. It's okay if you can't do you know, the last 3 that I had mentioned before, but you know, if you could do what you can, as well as grinding stuff out as the training that I listed prior to the bossing and dailies, then leveling up shouldn't be too much of a problem. And just to clarify, Pink Bean gives 63 million EXP himself. And last but definitely not least, I will be covering the power leveling of this video. This is going to be short, sweet, fast, because there's not very many places that you really need to go to. So from levels 10 to 40, you might as well just stay here at first job. Just destroy all these clams, you know, as fast as you possibly can. You know, you'll be level 40 pretty fast. Simple place to train at. Then from level 40 to 60, you could train at Drakes. If you can get 2 people to actually micromanage the spawn. You could just have somebody fighting on this platform, or fighting on the ground, or somebody fighting on this platform, while you only have to deal with the top 2. It's actually a really smart way to deal with spawn control, so you don't necessarily have to keep going up and down, especially without the portal. If you have to, you know, be here alone, then the EXP will be slightly worse. From level 60 to 100, you just blast it at Dwarfs right before entering Zokum. Just stay here at Dwarfs until 100, and then drop advance, and then Zokum. If you are not level 130 by the time you finish Zokum, you could be here until level 130. Dual Ghost Pirates. Really good map to train at, and after that, you could either go to Skelly's Gons or Skelly Sources, or Star Force Kerning Tower as shown before. Really just depends on what title. Star Force Kerning Tower is out, just go there and then stay there until level 50 before queuing up to Chaos Horn. Since I already done Chaos Horn for today, can't necessarily show it, but you can just run Chaos Horn till, you know, with all the EXP buffs you can, get reset coupons if you are able to find some. You can reset up to 5 times a day, so you can run up to a maximum of 7 times a day, but the initial amount of times you can run a day is only 2. This should get you to around 170-ish or so, and once you reach about level 170, you should have access to Armory 2, and you should be able to level up to 180 here. If Omega Sector is already out by the time you're doing this, which is July 5th, then you can go over to, I can actually teleport here since I have a usable rock. You can just go over to UFO H03 all the way up until level 200. If that necessarily doesn't really work out for you well, you want to train at higher level mobs, then there always is Twilight Perion with Forsaken Excavation Site 2, or Rough Canyon depending on your preference. And once you reach level 199, just go ahead, do Madman Ranmaru once, and then you should be good to go. If you have EXP left over at 199, come here, come to Forsaken Excavation Site, or go to Rough Canyon, and you should easily reach level 200. This was much longer than my V-Update training guide, but I wanted to cover everything I possibly could, all the way to not only level 200, but 250 as well. I hope you went to whatever timestamp you have to go through in order to know what you have to do. There will be a text guide in the description over all of this, just in case you don't really want to look at this. But that's it. If you guys enjoyed the video, or if you guys found it helpful at all, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, that is if you want to, and I'll be bringing back some more great content to you guys later. Peace out, everybody.